All rise, veuillez vous lever. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte.
The case of the prosecutor versus Ali Muhammad Ali Abd-Al-Rahman continued with the testimonies of the last 4 prosecution witnesses as well as 2 witnesses called by the chamber. These witnesses testified between 16th January and 14th February 2023 before Trial Chamber 1, comprised of Presiding Judge Joanna Kona, Judge Renee Alapinyi Gansu, and Judge Althea Violet Alexis Windsor. Mr. Abd al-Rahman, the alleged leader of the Janjaweed militia, is accused of 31 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity allegedly committed in Darfur, Sudan, between August 2003 and at least April 2004. These crimes include directing attacks against a civilian population, murders, pillaging, rape, persecution, torture, cruel treatment, and other inhumane acts. The trial chamber granted protective measures such as the use of a pseudonym, voice and image distortion, as well as conducting parts of the trial in private sessions to some of the witnesses who testified during this period. The witnesses were first questioned by representatives of the Office of the Prosecutor, senior trial lawyer Julian Nichols, trial lawyers Pubudu Sachitanandan, Jeremy Edwards, followed by further questioning from Mr. Abd al-Rahman's lead defense counsel, Cyril Lauchi, and Associate Defense Counsel, Ian Edwards. Witnesses P1048 and P1049, who were called by the chamber, testified about circumstances of Mr. Abd al-Rahman's surrender and other issues that arose during the 2019-2020 period. Both witnesses were questioned by the chamber, as well as the parties, about their involvement in this case. Witness P1049 confirmed that he was in contact with an intermediary during this period in order to negotiate for the suspect at the time, Mr. Abd al-Rahman, to be brought safely to The Hague. Witness P1049 was questioned by the presiding judge, Judge Joanna Kona, about his failure to record some of his communications with the intermediary.
Were there no instructions, to your knowledge, that all communications, particularly of this nature, which might be relevant to the surrender of a suspect, should be recorded?
There are instructions that these communications should be recorded. I'm aware of it. Yet sometimes, because of the heavy work schedule, the recording get delayed, but I do share the content of such important interaction with other parties within the team.
The presiding judge wanted to know whether the witness had asked for more evidence from the intermediary to prove that the suspect was indeed Mr. Abd al-Rahman.
The 2 videos were supplied to the Office of the Prosecutor by the intermediary of al-Rahman confirming that he was the suspect and he was Ali Kushaib. At any stage, in any conversation, did you request that such a video be produced?
No, I did not request the instruction that such a video should be made. I was discussing with the intermediaries, exploring ways how to possibly confirm the identity of the suspect, whether he is inexistent and he is there and he is willing to cooperate with the court.
Judge Althea Violet Alexis Windsor questioned witness P1049 about the types of proof that an intermediary might typically give during negotiations to confirm that a suspect is who they say they are.
In your mind, what did you conceive as proof to authenticate identity? What were you thinking of? What were the means that you envisaged?
I think the first thing that might come up to my mind is, at that time, picture of the suspect with his ID card or copy of his passport with something showing, maybe newspapers showing the date of time, the direct phone number of the suspect, facilitate direct call with him, but that would be like with image and a call that would show ID of suspect. Possibly a video of the suspect talking that I am the suspect with this name and willing to cooperate with the court.
These methodologies of proof that you thought of, did you communicate them to the intermediary?
I recall the intermediary is knowledgeable about the situation. He is a lawyer, and he said that he was exposed to the court before, and he was aware of such methods to prove the ID of the suspect.
In addition, Judge Rene Alapini Gansu questioned witness P1049 about his involvement in Mr. Abd-Al-Rahman's case.
Êtes-vous content,
Are you happy to be here testifying before the court on an investigation which you yourself have conducted?
Yes, I'm happy to come here and testify. This is my duty. This is also an honor for me to tell you about the investigation and also to inform you about my activities in relation to the arrest of the suspect. For me, this was like a major step in my career. I have acted in good faith throughout my dealing with the suspect and his entourage, and even before.
The prosecution questioned witness P1049 about the circumstances of Mr. Abd-Al-Rahman's surrender and the steps taken afterwards. The witness confirmed that he had taken notes and made recordings of some of his conversations with the intermediary during the 2019-2020 timeframe. From these notes, recordings, and conversations, several reports were written by his colleague.
First of all, let me just put it this way. The questions you've answered, we agree. Record keeping of conversations with P869 was not perfect in this case. Could have been better, right?
Yes, correct. It could have been better.
And many of these interactions should have been logged right away in the investigative management system as soon as possible, right?
Yes, right.
And my question is, these reports are not authored by you, but they contain information of interactions between you and P869. Now, do you recall when the investigator who was writing these reports up wrote them, did you discuss the creation of the reports with him? Did he talk to you about what had happened when he was making these reports?
Yes.
And just very quickly, having reviewed them yesterday, I'm not asking about every word and comma, but are these largely correct in the chronology and the information, or did you notice any real mistakes?
Yes, I confirm it's largely that there may be minor things, but it's up to.
The defense of Mr. Abd-Al-Rahman focused on questioning witness P1049 about communication between him and the intermediary and the suspect. Several previous WhatsApp messages between the witness and the intermediary were read to the witness in the courtroom.
Document 601, page 2.
Right.
Yep. No, I want you to see the text. It's fair to you to be able to see the text. And then you say this. This is the last thing that you say before receiving the video. And is there a message for us from one of the wanted individuals requiring our follow-up? Do you see that? Yeah. And when you're talking about one of the wanted individuals, you're only talking about one person. You're only talking about Abd-Al-Rahman, aren't you?
Yes, I'm referring to that.
Yeah. And even though you're asking in a slightly oblique way, you're chasing by this message the intermediary to send you that video.
I learned from the message that he was in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Because he was here. The first thing came to mind, we could see him.
Yeah.
He's around, then we could meet him and discuss in person. Unfortunately, he returned.
Well, there are two things, aren't there? Are you still in the Netherlands? One question. And then a second question. And is there a message for us requiring our follow-up? Yeah? That second question is essentially you chasing the intermediary for this video that's been long promised, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm trying to understand also the message that he had sent to me, the video that he made himself in front of the court.
Okay.
Furthermore, two prosecution expert witnesses testified during this period. Witness P1061 testified about a forensic examination of the accused, as well as the report that was written afterwards. Witness P1062 testified about two reports on the biometrics-based comparison of video files against images of Mr. Abd-Al-Rahman. The last two prosecution witnesses, witness P0921 and witness P0131, testified entirely in private sessions. These were the last prosecution witnesses to testify in the courtroom. The presentation of evidence before the chamber for the prosecution in this case has concluded. The trial in the case of the prosecutor versus Ali Muhammad Ali Abd-Al-Rahman will resume on 22nd May 2023 with the testimonies of witnesses called by the common legal representatives of victims.